Hi, this is Doug and Brad with the Darksliders podcast.
Hey everyone.
So this week, not a whole lot of news going on, but we did get to play some games, and I'm probably not going to show up for Mega Man Legends for a long time. So hopefully this will be a good episode.
I don't feel like it's a good idea to start out with. Hopefully this is good. I don't feel like that's a little pessimistic to
That's the
start with.
mindset I have every time going into every single episode we do. Who knows? I don't really know. I don't know until I'm editing if it's going to be a good episode or not. So let's see. All right, so this week
God.
we're going to keep this.
Oh hell yeah, we are.
So this week we were mostly playing, I guess, PS Plus games from what it looks like. So Brad, you got to play Broken Age, and because my PS4 is currently out of commission, not that it's broken, I just haven't been able to set it up recently. You got to play Broken Age, and I'm kind of jealous. How was Broken Age? This is like definitely one of those PS Plus games I was looking forward to.
Yeah, I only played like an hour of this. I started it literally last night because it's Wednesday when we're recording this, so they just came out yesterday. But that game is awesome, and I can't believe I haven't played it until right now because it is so cool.
Oh, is that is it?
That's
What
about all
makes
I got. Like literally, I'm an hour into this. All I know is that the first hour, you're this like moody teenager whose life is controlled by this computer, and all the space instruments on your space station are toys, and that kind of bothers you, and you're kind of pessimistic and teenagery about it. And then you meet a fox.
See, that's awesome. It's so funny because I think I talked about like Grim Fandango last time, and like you're trying to describe like any Tim Schafer game, like trying to like describe the concept of the game is like, okay, so you're a roadie that gets transported to a death metal universe. You're a little boy who goes into people's dreams and helps them with psychology.
All I know is that you're in space, and I don't really know much else. But it's just a like point and click thing, which I don't know. I've never been like super into those,
Hmm.
but I'm really liking it because it's just I don't know. It's weird, and I like it,
Yeah,
and I have no clue what else is going on. But yeah,
yeah. We'll try. I'll try to play that one next week.
yeah, I'm planning on running through it because it's awesome.
Yeah, that's more of a soon we'll be talking about that one because I am a sort of fan. I like to say I'm a fan of Tim Schafer games, and when I think back to him, I was like, I like aspects of Tim Schafer games.
I say you don't care for Brutal Legend that much, and you were not overly up on Grim Fandango.
No, but I love the universe of those games, so that's why I'm kind of excited for this one. And they can't screw up point and click. Like
No,
I
you
don't
point
think they
and
can.
click. There's not
Yeah,
much you can mess up there.
yeah. I'm not like working. I'm not totally worried about like mechanics of point and click games. So moving on to another game, Brad kind of played Metal Gear. We're gonna talk about this a little bit later, but Metal Gear 5 updated with a whole host of updates, and we're going to talk about the crappy ones later. But they did release Metal Gear Online. Metal Gear Online was created by, they were called Kojima Studios LA. They're just called Konami Studios LA now.
Yeah,
um, but yeah, so this was like a free update, and it's Metal Gear Online 3, I guess would be considered.
I think so. That sounds right to me.
Yeah, and Brad, you got to play it, so I was kind of excited for this. And talking to you a little bit before, you're like,
Yeah, it's serviceable. Um,
ouch.
no, not ouch. It's one of those things that as I'm playing it, and we've talked about this a couple of times, there are games that are just not meant for you.
Yeah.
And this kind of has that feeling. Like, I went in, and you're going to hate this. So just for fun, I only played, again, it came out yesterday. I played maybe 3, 4 matches. That's about it.
Hmm.
And I don't even think I switched. I think I played most of those with the same people. Like, I don't even think I switched out to different rooms or anything. But basically, I picked the one that in the gameplay demonstration was like the stealthy, like just walk up to people and knife them in the back. I picked that one as my base character.
I I still don't understand how you can even like Metal Gear Solid games like at all. You're like, I don't have patience for games. And then you're like, and then I play as a sneaky character in deathmatch. Like, what?
No, because I thought it'd be unique and I thought it'd be different. But here's where it gets irritating, and maybe I was doing it wrong. So you get into the game, and literally, it's just everyone running around with a machine gun shooting at each other.
uh,
There was no real stealth element to it, any different than there's a stealth element in Call of Duty or any other like deathmatch style game. I mean, it felt different because it was third person and you're playing that Metal Gear Solid gameplay. But for basically the 4 games I played, it was just people running around shooting each other with machine guns.
Is there no objective? There's got to be more than just like deathmatch. So
I just played the deathmatch one because that's always my go-to. Is just like, oh, let's play normal deathmatch. So again, this is 4 games, just the deathmatch mode. So maybe the other ones were differently, but in that one I picked the stealth class, and there was no stealth element to it. And the way it works is you start out with like a basic character, and you don't unlock the ability to customize things until you get to level 4.
I hate that.
So I think after my 4 games, I was at like level 3-ish, maybe level 2. I wasn't quite there yet to the point where I could customize, but I feel like maybe once you get the ability to customize, then maybe you can do that. I don't know.
That's just the thing with like deathmatch games in general now, where there's no like Halo. Well, even Halo's probably going this way now. I haven't really been following Halo 5 too much. But like Halo back in the day was, or Quake or Unreal Tournament, like everybody's on the same playing field the second the match starts. Like it doesn't, there's no, you don't have any special power-ups because you're that specific character or class, or you've been playing super long time. But man, I think ever since Call of Duty started doing that whole perk system, and then everybody started doing that perk system.
Yeah, I don't know. I do miss that traditional gameplay. I mean, Halo, like classic Halo, like Halo 1 through 3 is my all-time favorite multiplayer. And that's what I really want out of multiplayer. So I don't really know, like, going into this if I was going to like it or not. And I kind of had the same complaints with Rainbow Six last week. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where I'm sure it's good, and I'm sure once you really dive into it, and if you really want to get into it, it's good. But I don't know. There's just something about this idea of like, oh, I need to customize my character that just doesn't appeal to me. I don't have any desire to do that. I want to be able to go in, and I want to be able to run over and pick up the giant gun from the middle of the map because I raced everybody else over there and I got to it first. And then I kill 6 people with it, and somebody snipes me in the back of the head, and then I start over with my assault rifle and I go pick up something. Like, that's what I like. The fast-paced type stuff. And this was fast-paced in the games I played. I don't know. It just didn't feel as different and as Metal Gear as I wanted to.
Yeah, it seems like Deathmatch doesn't... It's really weird. We'll talk about the DLC stuff, like this whole update in general just doesn't feel like Metal Gear at all.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like what I like about Metal Gear, and even Metal Gear Online. Like, I never played the other Metal Gear Onlines, but I know that there was like a lot of... There's some modes where like you're like it's one snake versus like 5 guys, and you actually have to like sneak around and stuff like that. Or they had like very specific team-based stuff. And from what I understand is the older Metal Gear Onlines were like really, really unique. And from what you're saying, it kind of sounds like they actually have some, from what I've been reading and stuff like that, they have like unique aspects to it. But the fact that like, I think it's just those things are like just starting out is everybody only knows to shoot each other with machine guns.
Yep. And again, this was, I mean, maybe an hour or two after it was like fully up and people could jump into it. So everybody's just kind of trying to figure it out and figuring out what you can do. But I don't know, kind of you described the old Metal Gear Online, which sounds a lot like, I don't remember what game they put it in, but I think it was Splinter Cell 2 or 3 had very similar objectives where it's like one spy versus merc. And that's kind of what I was hoping for with this. And again, maybe playing the objective ones, it would be a little bit different. I'm talking a lot for just having played Deathmatch, but I'm sure we'll talk more about this later because I do plan on giving it another try for a bit. So I don't know. It's different in how it feels, but the way it plays, I was just really hoping for that really good, solid kind of feeling like I could do anything I want that you get from the single player, but in a multiplayer setting. And I don't feel that way from this. I feel like it's one of those things where you are just forced into a firefight the minute somebody else shows up.
Yeah, that's what this whole we're gonna talk more about this later, but this whole update just seems like completely counterintuitive to like anything that I like about Metal Gear. This is also going on our list. We'll probably talk about this one later once I get a hold of it as well. But I feel like I'm gonna have the exact same opinions of Brad on that one. So the next game I'm gonna try not to ramble, because I think people like to ramble with these games. This next game because this has a really, really strong fan base. Okay, Mega Man Legends. I was talking to Brad about last week that he needs to play this game. He needs to buy this game, and Brad actually did buy it.
I played about an hour and a half of it.
Brad didn't get as far as I did in that I like beat the game in like a course of 2 days.
I do like how this always tends to go this way. Is you're like, oh yeah, I bought this game. Then I beat it 2 days later, and I'm like, I bought this game. I'll finish it in a week or two.
Yeah, if it's a game, honestly, like I'm kind of like now, I don't know what it is, but like in the past like year or two, I feel like every game because I think it is like I'm getting really picky with games. I know exactly what I want out of games, so I feel like I'm playing like the best games ever, like constantly. And Mega Man Legends is, whew, it is a beast of a game. I This game is like one of those. I am so shocked at like how ahead of its time it is. It does a lot of things that like I like literally haven't seen in other games. First of all, the thing I really like about the series, it has a really really unique aesthetic. Because it was stuck on PlayStation, it kind of had to work around the hardware, but it did in a really clever way and something I haven't really seen before, which is kind of like a mix of low poly models, but all the textures are kind of like pixel art. You play a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird because it doesn't seem like I don't remember. I didn't look at the exact release date, but I mean the game's going on 15, 20 years old.
Yeah, it's
And
before Ocarina of Time. That was like in
yeah,
my head. Yeah.
and it doesn't feel that dated. It
No.
looks almost very similar to if somebody was creating kind of that throwback indie game now.
Yeah, and I think it's like I don't know what it is about it like that feels like so timeless. I think it's because the art style doesn't feel outdated because they found a weird way to circumvent the technology by doing this sort of pixel art. So it gets a really unique look that doesn't feel outdated because you really haven't seen anything that else that looks like it. Even currently, I haven't seen any games that
Yeah.
look like it. There's a few games I'm actually excited for that are coming out soon-ish that have kind of that low poly aesthetic. But it feels like one of those games that's just not held back by its hardware. Like I really couldn't see it looking much better than it does now. I really like the atmosphere of the game. It's like it's got this sort of like we're going on an adventure, guys. Um
Yeah, that's awesome because the whole time it's just like, why not? Yeah, we're gonna go over here now. Well, we should really go try and find this. That'd be cool.
yeah, it's like it's super positive. It's not I mean, it's not cutesy, which I mean it's kind of cutesy. It's got some like cutesy characters in it, but it doesn't feel overly cutesy and it doesn't feel like it's pandering to be really cute. It just feels like a fun. You're going on a fun adventure, and I really like that. And the like feeling is like constantly there. I really like the character. Well, I don't like the characters. I like some of the characters. Some of the characters in this are freaking great. I don't know if you've met the Serve bots yet in the Tronbon family.
Yep. Hmm.
Okay, the
I
Tron.
just did. That was about the as far as I got.
Yeah, I don't know the Tronbon family. Like the whole aesthetic is like very it's Saturday morning cartoons, and like the Tronbons are these pirate villains, but they're not really villains. Like they try to be villains, but they're kind of incompetent. And they have these amazing little guys, and like they literally look exactly like little Lego figures. Is the best way to describe it. I think it's kind of funny because these characters you see them in a lot of Capcom games, but they're really only in the Mega Man Legends series, and they're called the Serve bots, and they serve the Trombon family. And I don't know if they're voiced by children, but they have like little kid cutesy voices. I just love all of their dialogue. Actually, made me giggle or laugh or to at least smile. Um, like one of the ones was you meet a surf bot in a library, and he's like, "I'm looking up warfare tactics." I was like, "What?"
You
like,
shouldn't be doing that.
yeah, it's like, "Oh, you're too cute to be doing that." Like they're like they're like good guys who want to be bad guys, and they're really bad at it. The universe is like I was saying, the universe is really cool. I like that I like how big the game is. I was kind of shocked that it's an open world game. Um,
Yeah, very much.
and I don't know, I know you haven't gotten very far, but one of the really, really cool aspects of the games is sort of like there's this underground area called the subgates. I think that's what the whole area is called. Brad, you've probably actually gone the area. It's like one of the first few missions you go underground. Um, but what's really cool about this area is that it's completely interconnected as you go farther and farther and farther into the game. So you could be literally in the final level and then find like get underground again and then you could actually walk all the way underground back to like where you first started the game.
Like the opening level.
Yeah, so it's like a huge underground interconnected labyrinth.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, which is cool. I just like I haven't seen that in any game right now. And then above ground you have the city, and the city has like I don't know, maybe 7 different districts, and they all have like different NPCs in there. The NPCs actually like change positions as well, depending on what like period of the game you are. So like one time you might meet a guy in one area, and sort of like as the game progresses, like these characters' lives kind of continue. So they have like they're not really stories. It's just they're kind of in different areas. Like one guy's kind of looking for a pickaxe or something. So he's like looking for a pickaxe throughout the entire game, and maybe he finds one later. But it's kind of cool. It sort of has like that kind of like living world sort of thing that like you really don't see until like much later. I guess Ocarina of Time had something similar to that, or Majora's Mask is probably a better example. But this is like one of the first 3D platformer games ever, so it's really cool kind of seeing these concepts we sort of take for granted now. This has like literally some of the best boss battles I've ever seen. Some of the most interesting designed, because it was so early. They didn't really know how to do like boss battles or fighting in 3D. So most of the I'll say most of, not all of them, but most of the boss battles you have don't kind of follow the tropes that you have of general 3D platforming, shooting, boss battles. So it feels really unique in that aspect. And like sometimes enemies will have attacks like, whoa, I don't think I've ever even seen this in a game. What the hell is going on? Or they'll have like multi-stage battles. But instead of just like multi-stage, like when I think of like multi-stage normally, it's like, oh, this guy turned into a super guy. But instead it's like, no, you fight like completely different enemies. So I think you did the city boss battle, right?
Yep, that was like the last thing I did.
Yeah. And I don't know, did you like that boss battle or not?
I did, yeah.
But I don't know. I thought that boss battle was super unique. Like at the very least, like it's just something
So basically, the bosses, these three tanks kind of come at you, and you shoot the tanks, and you blow up the tanks, and then you go through the door, and then there's like the flying thing.
It's the one
they're trying to break down City Hall.
Yeah. Oh no, so you did that one as well. No, I was talking about specifically the one with, like the three tanks running around, and then the big spider bot comes down.
Yeah.
And then you go to the city hall, and then I don't know how long that whole boss battle is, but it's like 4 or 5 different stages.
Yeah, because it's the 3 tanks, the spider bot, they attack City Hall, and then there's one more like flying thing that comes down.
It's like one of the Bond family members.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, holy crap. And that's like the second boss battle. Like seeing like a 4-stage boss battle that early, I don't know, the game feels like super kind of inspired. You're like, oh my gosh, I would love to play more of this sort of series. And I can see why people were really miffed about Mega Man Legends 3 now.
Yeah.
One thing that does feel outdated is the controls. Controls are not good.
Yeah, and I had that while I was playing this too, and I think I mentioned it to you. It's like I can't tell if the controls are kind of just janky and bad, or if I really just don't remember what it's like playing a PS1 game.
I think this one is kind of forgivable in that it's not just, it's like an early PS1. It's not an early PS1 game, but it's definitely like early 3D platforming when they still didn't really get a handle on controls. Except for like I guess like Mario 64 is probably the only one that actually got like 3D platforming controls right out of the gate.
Yeah. But that's Nintendo, and that's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I love this game. I hope Brad ends up finishing it so we can talk like a little bit about spoilers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I for sure will. I'm really enjoying it, so.
Yeah, I'm glad you're liking it because it's I played it as a kid and I was kind of worried it was kind of outdated, so I was really curious like because you've never actually seen the series.
Yeah, I knew nothing about it going in.
So yeah, what are your kind of just like, I don't know, just anything to add, like any kind of like first impressions because you haven't played this?
It's interesting just because I think of the time period that it comes from, because like you said, it's one of those things that almost feels out of place. And it's interesting to try and play something that necessarily doesn't conform to a lot of what we think of now in terms of this style and game.
Yeah.
And it also doesn't really go back to what I think when I think PS1 game. It doesn't really fit anywhere. So it's kind of got things that we look for today in that open world city side quest area, but it also plays very similar to, I feel like, a lot of PS1 games. So it's almost like game out of time feeling, I feel like. I don't know. It's super unique, and I can totally understand why people go all over this.
Yeah, I can see why you're saying that. That's actually really cool. Yeah.
I'm smart.
Yeah. All right, so you were saying earlier that the PS Plus games only came out, I guess you said yesterday, Tuesday?
Yeah, today's Wednesday.
Yeah, that just dawned on me because the next game we're talking about is Super Meat Boy. I beat the first 4 worlds of Super Meat Boy, all with A+ speed runs, then beat the first 3 Dark Worlds with A+ speed runs, and I did that last night.
Okay, so here's my question, because I also played some Super Meat Boy last night. When they announced this, did you have any intention of going back and replaying that?
I sort of, I mean, not replaying. No, I was gonna like, I remember I like this game. I'll probably just, I wanted to play on a Vita because I was like, oh, this will be a great Vita game. But yeah, I was just like, I honestly thought I was gonna put like 5 minutes into it because I already beat the game. Like I've played it before, I've beaten it. I did just fine last time, but Whew.
Yeah, see, and that's what I had was I was like, oh, and I ended up downloading it last night. And then, oh yeah, Metal Gear Online, and I downloaded that. So it's like, oh, well, I'll play Metal Gear Online. Well, I don't really need
Mhm.
to play Super Meat Boy again. I'll play that again. And sat down and played it for like 45 minutes or an hour last night, and got through I
Yeah,
think like the first 2 normal worlds or
yeah,
so. But it's just like, man, I forgot how good that game was.
yeah. I could. Yeah, I. This has like some of the. I don't know. Is this like one of my favorite platformers ever? I guess.
Yeah, I kind of had that same feeling. Like, I don't like in my mind, I don't picture this as one of my games that I really, really love. But sitting down and playing it, I was like, I kind of want to just go through this whole damn thing again.
Yeah, it's like I really like this game. I don't know why. Actually, I think I do know why I like this game. Is because the controls, first of all, are super tight.
Oh, they're perfect.
And it's really weird because I remember I think the first time anybody plays this game, they're like, this game feels weird because it has a lot of momentum stuff.
Yeah, and it almost feels like you float the first little bit.
Yeah, and you need to like accelerate. Like you don't immediately start going
Yep.
fast. It feels that way anyway. It feels like you're kind of like heaving into jumps sometimes. You're like heaving this way or heaving that way. Uh, but once you actually like get it down, oh my God, does it feel so good?
Yeah.
And the thing I think the thing that actually, as I was playing it last night, I was like, now I know why I actually like this game because I was trying to like figure. I was like, oh, we're probably gonna talk about this in the podcast. What do I like about this game? Is it's like a game that it's like one of the few games that rewards you for being impatient as shit.
What do you mean?
Like if you hold down the run button, like the levels are designed and the enemies and everything is timed for you to run through the level as fast as you can. So
Yeah.
like if you hit, there actually is like sort of like a perfect way you can run through a level and you'll miss everything. Like you'll like not hit any obstacles because they have exactly how far this platform is, exactly how well this like circular saw is that's spinning around in circles this time, exactly how this enemy moves. And it's really funny because it's almost like a puzzle game trying to figure out that perfect one. And that's why I like doing the speed runs. I don't know, did you ever try to get like A pluses on any of them, or were you just trying to get through the levels?
I do not do speedruns. I just try to get through things because I get frustrated enough. I'm not good at games like this to begin with.
Oh, okay.
So I never even made it through the Dark World. I got way too frustrated. I think I finished it and then maybe did like the first world in the Dark World. I was like, screw this. Like
Yeah.
I have no patience for this, so I don't bother with speedruns. I play it to enjoy it, and that's it. And by enjoy it, I mean play it until there's about 800 little meat boys dying, and I yell, screw this, and turn the thing off, and don't come back to it for a week.
Yeah. I was kind of like that. It's kind of cool playing it though a second time because like there's no it's kind of like I'm always gonna mention Bloodborne. It's playing Dark Souls before Bloodborne, as you sort of get like the rhythm of the game, and like once you get that rhythm, it's kind of easy just to fall right back into it, and like suddenly you're like pretty good at the game. Like you can destroy the first two worlds like no problem.
Yeah, and that's what I had. And I think without trying, I think I A plussed almost the entire first world.
Yeah, that's the thing. Actually, that's why I kind of started doing the A plus thing is because like I realized how easy it was to do the A plus on the first world. I was like, well, I wonder how it is easy as to do the other ones. And it turns out like to get an A plus really only takes like after you figure out how to beat the level, because that's usually like the puzzly aspect is figuring out how to beat it. And once you do, like running through it isn't that hard. It takes like a few extra tries maybe, but I
Yeah.
never really struggled with getting an A plus after I'd beaten the level. Like after I'd figured out how to beat it, like it was like usually like my next run that I did it. And I don't know, I really like that. I really like that. Like I forgot what there's a platformer game we were talking about recently that kind of like punishes you. It's Mega Man really punishes you for like running ahead.
Yeah.
This is like 2D Mega Man, not the Amazing Mega Man Legends. Um, but Mega Man likes to punish the crap out of you for not being patient, and this one just like really rewards you. And I really like that aspect of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I don't normally like these. Well, I guess I do kind of like these instant restart games. I don't know. They're games that I can never decide if I like or not. But this one has so much snap back to it that it almost feels like when you make a mistake, it's like, oh, okay, that's okay. I was supposed to make that mistake because now I know.
Yeah,
Whereas in a
yeah,
game like Mega Man, it was like, oh, friggin' hell, I died again. Okay, what did I do? And it's not that instant. It's, okay, I gotta go back 10 minutes,
yeah.
play the damn level again, and oh, shoot, that stupid thing still shot me. Okay, I still didn't do it right.
It helps
I feel
the
like if you're
yeah.
gonna have that, at this point, if you're gonna have that really punishing gameplay, I feel like you need to have the instant restart.
That and the fact like the level's like 30 seconds long.
Yeah, I love that.
that
That makes me really
that
happy.
really really helps. Yeah, actually, the one thing I don't like about this game, not that I don't like it at all, but I just don't like it in general, is the aesthetic and like the story and stuff. Not that this game needs a story or anything, but like I don't know, like I'm not I don't know. I think the worlds look kind of gross. I guess they look like way too
Really?
simple. They look like
I
I
like
don't know.
it.
It's just a forest, a factory, a hospital. Like it's just like abandoned buildings and stuff. And like I just like oh okay. I mean, this is like one of those like gameplay over everything. But I don't really I didn't like the aesthetic at all.
But see, I feel like with this, because the gameplay is so well tuned and because this is a game that you really need to focus on, I feel like if you had too much going on in the background, it'd just be a distraction.
That's true. Yeah.
Especially when you get towards the end and there's so much stuff moving and going on, then it becomes a what's part of the background, what's part of the game.
Oh, I can see that. Yeah. I yeah, that's probably it. But even so, like you know, it doesn't need to be like an industrial city. It doesn't need to be like generic forest. It doesn't need to be generic this, generic that. Some
Yeah.
of the bosses are pretty crazy looking. Um,
Oh yeah.
and I kind of wish they had like I kind of wish the levels looked a little bit more unique than. But again, the gameplay is so good that it's not even so like I don't even like one of the things about this release is that the music changed. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, I did. I didn't. I in my mind, I don't even remember what the original music was anyway. So
Yeah, and that's kind of what I realized. Like, I know there's a lot of people like, oh, the music changed, and the music used to be. From what I remember, I was like, oh, it was pretty good. But like when I was playing this time, I don't even think I had it turned up. I was just like totally just into the gameplay. So like anything else is like
yep.
completely forgiven. Like I don't care, whatever. I probably should care, but no, that's all right.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that pretty much covers all the games we played. Next week though, we'll probably be talking about Battlefront.
Yeah. Battlefront beta this weekend.
And
We were talking a minute ago about what games are you excited for the rest of this year, and that's the only thing that comes to my mind is I want to play Battlefront.
yeah, I am interested to see what Battlefront is because I literally have never played Battlefront. Would
It starts with two words that negate the rest of what else comes after it, so it doesn't matter.
Star
It
Wars,
starts with Star
Wars.
Wars. I don't care what comes
Oh
next.
God,
I am buying
that's
that.
not true. You wouldn't play like any of the animated series games. Like
Okay, I guess that's true. If you leave, okay, if you take out the animated series game, I guess I'm going back to the heydays of Star Wars games and like PS2
yeah,
era,
yeah,
where it was like there were three every year, and I bought every damn one of
yeah.
them every single year,
I'm gonna be.
even the like real shitty
This will be
ones.
so friggin' funny if you're disappointed in Battlefront. I'd
I
actually be
won't
more
be.
excited if you're
It's
disappointed in it because I think that'd be way
it's
funnier.
Star Wars. It doesn't matter at this point.
Mhm.
I realized like 2 days ago that it's only like 2 months until Force Awakens comes out, and I about like sat there like, oh man, I need to like plan out my December. Like, how can I go see this as many times as possible? So there, it won't. It doesn't
Oh,
matter.
we'll probably do like a review of that of episode 7. That'd be kind of fun to do a review on here. That's just the whole episode, just Star Wars. We're not doing that. I
Oh
don't know
god,
enough
that
about
sounds
Star
like
Wars.
so much
Star
fun.
Wars is okay. All right. All right. So moving on to news. Tony Hawk 5 sucks. So Far Cry announced that they're doing a new game.
Wait. So we're just gonna leave that at Tony Hawk 5
Yeah,
sucks.
that's it. I don't do you have anything to say about that.
Are you surprised? And how is that
No,
news?
I'm not surprised. I actually, you know what? As much okay, this game sucks. That's the news. I feel so bad for these devs. I feel so bad for them because they've never made a good Tony Hawk game, and literally the whole internet hates them. Like,
Well, when you don't make a good game and you proceed to continue trying to make that same game, and after what, like 4 tries, it still hasn't gotten
but I
better?
mean, it's not like they know. It's not like they don't know these games suck. Like they know these games sucks. Like imagine that you. I'll bet you there's somebody on their team who's like, wait, you guys get to make Tony Hawk games? I love Tony Hawk as a kid. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna make Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5. My name's gonna be in the credits. It's gonna be awesome. And then like I'm sure there's some sort of bureaucracy thing going on. I can't imagine it's not it's just the fact these guys suck or something like that. Like the game's broken, there's all these issues. And like you just know that there are people on the team who are like really fans of Tony Hawk and they realize like they just can't do it. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't think it's just simply like they're bad developers. They might not be good developers, but I just feel like I can't imagine they're not at least fans of Tony Hawk, and I can't imagine that they haven't played all the PS2 games over and over and over again during development, going, "Our game is not as good as these."
I don't know. It's one of those things where you just have so much to live up to that I I feel like it's one of those things that I would just never touch. Going back to Star Wars, like you have a hell of a lot to live up to. People's expectations are so damn high
For
that like
Star Wars games, you
no,
could
no,
crap on anything.
For Star Wars movies.
Okay, yeah.
But like it's the same thing of like you're going after like a big series that people hold in real high esteem. You're not gonna live up to it. Just bite the bullet, make your shitty game, and move on with your life.
Yeah, I just, oh my God. I mean, people, I don't know. I just feel so bad for these guys. I have to imagine they're at least fans of the series, and like they just fact that they know they couldn't make this game. And also I feel bad because a lot of the so like the unique aspects like the Xbox One and the PlayStation version is that you got like unique heads for your character, like for your customizable character. So for PS4 you got like Ratchet and Clank, Sackboy, and for Xbox you got you ever see the Cuphead trailers? You know what that game is?
Yes, I really want to play
Yes.
Cuphead, and it makes me want an Xbox
Yeah,
One.
but like Cuphead got like their Tony Hawk guy in and an Octodad head, and I was like, I feel bad for those guys because I'll bet they thought they got like a super cool deal. Like, oh my God, my little indie game got into a Tony Hawk game, but
No, it
you got in the
didn't.
crappy one. Yeah, and it's just like, it just feels bad, like from all accounts. Like nothing about it feels good, and that's not even just talking about the game. I just feel bad for the devs. I just feel so bad for them. Like I don't even
And
want
of
to
course,
talk bad
after
about the
saying all
game,
that,
just because I feel.
we haven't even played this game either.
No, that's true. But it's just news that Tony Hawk 5 sucks. And the thing that's kind of weird, I know we haven't played it, so like we can't talk too much about it. I just want to talk about kind of the atmosphere surrounding it. Is that it's very clear that there are some pretty passionate people because the soundtrack is awesome. I don't know. The soundtrack for it has some like super cool bands, and it's got like Cloud Nothings. It's got Death, which is that
Ooh,
like black punk band I was
ooh.
just recently discovered. It's got a really killer soundtrack. And it's like, oh, somebody really did care about skater culture and stuff like, and like, these indie bands and like bringing them into the fold. So like, I gotta imagine there's some passionate people on here. It's just something screwed up along the way.
Yeah.
So that's why I want to talk about Far Cry. I just want to say Tony Hawk's 5 and move on. Tony Hawk's 5 sucks and move on.
You can't just do
I can
that.
do that. That would,
Yeah, but I'm not gonna let you.
yeah.
So Far
So
Cry.
Far Cry, oh man, do you know how did you watch the announcement for this game at all?
I didn't. I know they had like a live stream thing going or something, but I wasn't around when they started it.
Yeah, I was around when they started it. And what the live stream was a Ubisoft announcement coming soon. And literally it was like a picture of it. It was like a cave drawing of a guy holding a bow and arrow or a staff, or I think it was a staff or a spear or something like that. And then the camera would like slowly zoom out and reveal more of the cave drawings. And by
Ooh.
slowly zoom out, it took like 13 hours or something for it to zoom all the way out.
And you seem like the type of person who probably had that just pulled up on your computer for 13 hours.
I not 13, but I
12
had
and
it
a
up for a
half.
number of hours. I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." Because it said coming soon. It said announcement soon. I thought they must have been like on Square Enix time or something
Yeah.
because soon was like not soon. But I will say at the end of all that, I thought it was kind of an okay way to announce the game. I wasn't like too mad. It wasn't like because it was only a day long, it wasn't like a 3 day long Deus Ex excursion.
Yeah. I feel like if you go much longer than that, that's where you're going to have problems.
Yeah, I think what it is, I think they sort of noticed that people are sort of getting frustrated because the game had been sort of announced and there's been kind of like, because I don't know, I guess with all these like worldwide companies, sometimes they don't all like communicate well. So like it's like Ubisoft Sweden had announced Far Cry Primal. Um,
Yeah.
so they just released a trailer and holy shit, game looks awesome.
How much Far Cry have you played?
I played Far Cry 1,
And
Crisis. Okay, did you play Far Cry 1?
nope.
Wait, have you played any Far Cry?
I played Far Cry 2 for about 2 hours and thought, damn, this game is huge. I don't want to drive my car through Africa for the next 40 hours and turned it off. And then Far Cry 3 I did play, Far Cry 3 I did like, and I loved Blood Dragon. So I've really only played 3.
Okay, that's still like that's like modern Far Cry.
Yeah. But like, I don't know. It's just one of those things where there's something about Far Cry that just never jumped out at me.
Hmm.
So it's one of those things where almost putting the Far Cry label on this game that I feel like isn't necessarily. I mean, Far Cry they've kind of gone with, oh, it's not a series, it's a
Idea, yeah.
experience type idea, which I get, but putting the name Far Cry on it already puts like I'm not a huge fan of. I didn't like Far Cry 2 from the couple hours I played it and just never went back.
Hmm.
And Far Cry 3 was good, but it wasn't great. So just putting that name on it kind of makes you go, whatever. I would have more preferred if you just went 10,000 BC, the shooter.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing I do kind of appreciate about this game is that this game would not have been made if it was just called 10,000 BC the shooter. Like
Yeah.
Ubisoft would not. This honestly feels like, to me anyway, this feels like one of those like small passion project games that just got a big budget. Um,
I guess that's kind of true.
so yeah, so like when I think about this game is like somebody had, because there's actually a developer diary that came out with it that's actually really kind of interesting because they talked about how it got made is like apparently it's just like a small group within the Far Cry team had come forward to like the suits and said, hey, we want to make this game. So it was kind of like one of those like passion project games, like, and then I guess Ubisoft just said, you guys have given us like, because I will say at the very least the Far Cry games that they have taken some chances in certain aspects. Like Far Cry 3 had kind of like, at least they said they had a unique story with like the whole insanity aspect. Far Cry 4 had like a
Yeah.
pretty unique environment. I actually do want to play Far Cry 4 now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's one of those games that I like someday.
Yeah. But it's more on my someday soon list. And now that they're like kind of like they realize like that they can use the Far Cry brand to bring this game to a lot of people who wouldn't have looked at it otherwise, and they can give it a budget for a game that this game like this never would have gotten.
I guess that's true. Because if you look at it kind of as Blood Dragon, which I love Blood Dragon,
Yeah,
but I don't necessarily love that Blood. I don't necessarily love Blood Dragon for the gameplay and the
yeah,
thing itself. I love Blood Dragon for the aesthetic. But to me, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, Far Cry 4 DLC. That's a weird way to do
hmm.
that. And then realized, oh no, it's like full standalone game.
That got me more excited. Yeah, how do you feel about that?
No, I'm fine with that, and it doesn't really change anything in my perception of it. Again, I think this is a great idea. I'm interested just because I can't off the top of my head come up with very many games that fit this time period.
No, there's Carnivores Ice Age, which was a fun hunting game I played when I was 10.
Are you friggin' serious?
Yeah.
I love that
Dude,
game.
Carnivores is sweet. Oh my God. Dude, okay,
Oh my gosh.
real quick. So you know those Monster Hunter games, like for
Yeah.
Capcom? When I first heard Monster Hunter, I was like, holy shit, they're making like carnivore games. They did not. There is like no carnivore games except for carnivores.
They need to bring that game back. That game, it was like, so for those of you who haven't heard, I feel like that was like such like almost like a budget title for PC
Yeah.
in like the late
There's a
90s.
PS3
It was
there's a
basically,
PS3 remake, by the way. I don't know if you know about that.
are you freaking
Yeah, you can go get it for
serious?
like $10 right now. It's actually pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
'Cause
I sat and played that game so much, but it's basically like picture like what you would think like a Cabela's game is,
yeah,
where you
pretty
just go
much.
and hunt stuff, but you're hunting dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And the 10-year-old me thought that was the coolest thing on earth.
Okay, now think about that. Now keep that image in your head. Now it has a triple A budget, and it's coming out on.
And no dinosaurs.
Huh?
And no dinosaurs.
Oh God, you are this. That is so stupid. Okay, let me get on the dinosaur rant real quick. I like dinosaur games. We've had so many dinosaur games. Like really, we really have.
Like what? Like
Uh,
what?
we've had Turok, we've had Carnivores. Then there's like a shit ton of dinosaur games coming out, like Ark. Um, what the hell's that other dinosaur game? Um,
So the Turok series, which hasn't had a release in about 5 years,
I,
an indie game,
Dino
and
Crisis.
a
I mean, I guess we haven't had a dinosaur game in a long time, but we've like never had an Ice Age game. Like we have like one Ice Age game or two. But okay, here's the thing.
that's because the Ice Age doesn't have
Okay, but here's
dinosaurs.
the thing: is like I know what it's like to play a game where I shoot velociraptors. I know what it's like in a game to fight a T-Rex. I honestly don't know anything about Ice Age animals outside of mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, which means there's like tons of super crazy, humongous animals that like you would never see in a game otherwise. Like if you want to do something kind of cool, like look up Ice Age animals. There's some really cool things. Like there's deers the size of houses. There's like condors that are the size of like small airplanes.
Are they
They're not. God
dinosaurs?
damn it.
I don't care. I want dinosaurs.
I'm sure. I'll bet you. I'm sure $1 million that the Far Cry Blood Dragon version of this is the DLC is going to have dinosaurs. I mean, that just makes too much sense. I'm sure you'll get your dinosaur DLC eventually, but I don't know. I I think it's interesting because they didn't do dinosaurs because dinosaurs would have been a safer bet. They're doing a time period that
Yeah.
like you just haven't seen in games. And oh, one thing that's cool, the game's not in English.
What?
Yeah, they made up their own like Neolithic language thing and they're gonna do subtitles. I was like, that's pretty cool. I don't even know if they're doing subtitles.
That's really
Like,
awesome. I
yeah,
like
so I
that.
don't even know if they're doing subtitles. They might just doing this like all animation, which would be really, really cool.
Either way, that's really cool. I like the idea. Well, I feel like subtitles kind of makes it pointless to have like made up your own language that nobody can understand. It's like, okay, now you can understand
Yeah.
it. I think it'd be a bit cooler if they didn't, but
But yeah, to me, basically, this is like I just think this is like a super, super unique game, and I do agree with you that the Far Cry aspect is a little like, well, hopefully, they don't fall into Far Cry tropes. I don't know. To me, this game seems like a huge chance, and
yeah.
I don't know.
See, and those tropes are what have me worried. Is that it's gonna have the standard Ubisoft gameplay aspects that every Ubisoft game checks off the checklist,
Yeah, I
and that's the one thing that makes me a little nervous about this. But I think it's an awesome idea.
mhm.
I just hope they can avoid those
I
things.
think they've been beaten up way too many times recently with like Assassin's Creed Unity and Watch Dogs specifically, and I know they're struggling a lot now with the Division. So I have to
Yeah.
imagine they've like maybe we can turn over a new leaf. I'm hoping this is a new leaf turnover. This is definitely one of those ones like gonna have to wait for reviews and like gonna definitely need to see some like long form gameplay to see if it is just that normal Far Cry bloat stuff. Um,
Yeah. Yep.
well, that's the most exciting news on here.
Wait it.
uh,
So you started off with going, "Damn, I hope this is going to be an episode," and then we get to the news part, and you're like, "Well, we basically hit the exciting stuff. Now you can listen if you want to hear us talk about
dude,
boring
it's
shit."
never gonna get better than Carnivores talk. So
That's one of those games I didn't think anybody else ever played.
yeah, oh yeah, no,
Like in my mind, that was like a game I found on like. Do you remember like back in the day when Target had like that little thing with just the
oh yeah,
CD
the
like
paper
jewel
sleeves,
cases?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was like one of those games, and it was like I'm the one idiot who bought it, and it was just like, holy shit, this is amazing.
I'm not kidding. There is a very, very legit PS3 remake that is like just that is the hunting aspect and everything, same level, same a lot of things, and it's supposed to be like pretty damn good if you like the Carnivore games. I should buy that. I don't know why I didn't buy
Well,
that.
well, screw Broken Age of Metal Gear Online. That's what we're talking about next
Yeah.
week.
In the future, we'll probably be talking about carnivores. That'd be kind of fun. Brad, you're gonna have to explain this one because this one made a whole load of nonsense to me. Guitar Hero Live DLC plan. Go. I have no idea what the hell is going on here.
Yeah, so this is interesting, and I feel like it's a good idea in theory. I just don't quite understand it because it seems very dependent on you knowing what Guitar Hero Live and their Guitar Hero TV idea
That's
is.
where I got stuck because I didn't
And
know what the hell that was.
so basically, their idea here is at this point, Spotify and things like that are way more popular, or not more popular, but are becoming way more pervasive than like buying a song on iTunes. So their
Yeah.
kind of idea here is instead of just going in and the traditional Guitar Hero Rock Band DLC model is every song you want $2.
Yes.
This what it is it's okay. Basically Guitar Hero TV, we're just going to curate a playlist. And that playlist will be a certain genre. And the DLC songs will be thrown in there and you can play them for free.
Okay.
But here comes the
Yeah,
but.
no, I
And
still
it
didn't even get the
almost to
first
me
part, but continue.
and it almost so basically from the sound of it is their generated playlists you can play for free. So if there's a DLC song
Oh,
you don't own, it's just going to stream into that
okay.
playlist. But if you want to play on demand, you earn in-game
Yuck.
currency,
Yuck.
microtransactions, to buy those songs more on a permanent basis that you can play on
Oh,
demand.
yeah, yeah, but you sort of like you
But you still don't own them.
yeah, which is so crazy. And I think they had like a token name for it or something like that. It was really funny. Their
Yep.
logic was like, "Oh, you don't want to you don't want to make such a big investment in a song that you haven't played before." I think that was like the thing they're talking about the Rock Band, like the $2 thing. I was like, $2 is not a huge investment. Like that's not
Yeah, but So my hesitation, the reason I don't have Rock Band 4 right now is because my library of literally hundreds of dollars of songs is on my Xbox
Rough.
360, and that's not connected to my PS4,
Uh,
and there's a huge investment there.
it's so funny because a few
But it
podcasts
just,
ago you didn't care about that.
yeah, but now I do.
Of
Because
course.
I'm just sitting here thinking, like, man, there's so many more things I could have there that I'm going to want, but that's another story. But anyway, I like the idea, but it just sounds like it's going to end up being like super microtransaction heavy. Because the whole
Yeah.
idea is that you earn these in-game tokens, and I'm gonna assume right next that there's a or buy 30
Oh,
tokens
there's
for 50
absolutely that.
cents.
I think, yeah, I'm guessing the idea is kind of like an arcade sort of thing. I think that was like the initial idea of microtransactions was because people were willing to spend quarters to play arcade games.
Yeah,
So people would be willing to spend quarters like to play a game. So that makes sense. If you get the game free, then you should be able to spend like just a little bit of money just to play it temporarily. And that's kind of what the feeling I got with this is. Um,
yeah. One thing that they did kind of tack onto the bottom of this that kind of sounded cool is they have what's called a party pass,
oh God.
where you pay like I don't know, they didn't say the amount, but maybe you pay like $5, and it gives you unlimited access to any song that's on there for like a set time. So like,
Oh,
say you're having like six people come over, you're going to get like all the guitars out, and you just want to play any song you can think of, any song any of your friends want to play. You give them $5 and they're like, okay, you can play anything you want for
oh.
the next hour and a half.
That's such a double-edged sword. It depends how long it is, though. Is it like the night?
They didn't say. It's
Okay.
a quote set duration.
If it's like 12 hours, because like if I'm gonna do it, if I'm gonna spend $5 with friends, like we're gonna play like the night. You know what I mean?
We're going to
Like,
play the shit out of this. Yeah.
yeah. Damn. See that okay. That to me is cool. The fact that you can't actually own the songs suck. So maybe that second part sounded really cool. I like that second part.
Yeah, but see, and again, I think that's one of those things where they're trying to get on board with this whole streaming thing. Like at this point, I use Spotify. I haven't bought or paid for music other than a Spotify subscription in probably 4 years.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're trying to get behind with this. And I don't know. I feel like if I could just, and I like the idea that you can play some of them without buying.
Hmm.
So, for example, if you go to like the alt rock playlist, it's like, oh yeah, here's the 5 songs I own plus 3 that I don't own. And their whole idea was, oh well, maybe you'll discover a new song. And kind of Guitar Hero and Rock Band when they first came out really introduced a lot of music to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And this is kind of their way of continuing that tradition, which I do like because there are several bands that I listen to now that I never would have heard of in a million years if it wasn't for Guitar Hero or Rock Band.
Yeah. I get the lot. I This is one of those things that sounds nice when people say it out loud, but then like when you think about
Mm-hmm.
sort of the I don't know, the microtransaction shit. Every time I hear microtransaction, it makes me nervous. And it's not like, and to be
Yeah.
fair, like the Guitar Hero playlist looks like crappy. The first,
Yeah.
so what I'm think, what I okay, this is like the reason I will not get the game is like I don't think they did this on purpose, but I could see them easily doing this on purpose. Is that they have all the you get like some pretty good songs and not a lot and a lot of not so good songs in the initial one, but look at all these super awesome songs that you can get streaming. That's ex
Yeah, but again, the fact that they're opening up a chunk that they're opening them up in limited access form in a free way anyway
I just feel like that's gonna be all the
is
good songs. You know what I mean?
yeah, probably, but I don't know. It's one of those things where I feel like what were we talking about? Street Fighter 5, where we were talking about their DLC plan, where it's
Oh,
like if you really think about it, it sounds really cool and really consumer friendly and really nice,
yeah,
but there's so much hatred, not hatred,
yeah,
so much like backhandedness that's happened with DLC over the past few years that like it's hard to sit here and go, that's really consumer friendly, that's really cool, that's going to work really well without having that thought in the back of your mind of how are they going to screw me
yeah.
out of
And it
this?
always comes down to like it's funny. It's always just comes down to not necessarily the concept, but like the price and the times, and that's like usually what it is. Because
Yep.
well, actually, this is probably a pretty good segue into Metal Gear Solid 5 DLC. Yeah,
Yeah, speaking of
that was
great
I'll pretend. Yeah,
values.
I'll pretend like that was all on purpose. But yeah,
Hell yeah, it was.
so yeah, what it comes down to is kind of like what you're getting for your little microtransaction thing. Is it permanent? Is it not permanent? Is it speeding up an arbitrary bar that was slowed down so you would pay more for microtransactions? Does it have, oh my God. Okay. I was mad, I was a little bit, I felt a little bad about trashing on Tony Hawk 5 because I really do think some of those devs care. And I think that, I think that there's probably a small team at Activision, and they didn't get they don't get the same guys they get for do Call of Duty, but holy effing shit, this 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 Metal Gear Solid 5 stuff. Okay, so some things that came out with the uh latest update. So Metal Gear Online came, which was fun. I guess that's okay.
Yeah, and pretty much free.
Yep, and then
Granted, it probably should have been free to begin with.
yeah. Now here comes the crazy shit. Okay, so the forward operating base or FOB was so Metal Gear Solid 5, there's a part so you build mother base and then you get the option later to build a second mother base called a forward operating base. And this is sort of where the multiplayer aspect comes in, is that people can invade your base and like steal your guys.
Did you ever touch that, by the
No,
way?
I didn't. I just played offline the whole time. I just reaped all the benefits of keeping a bunch of guys at the second base open. Um,
Perfect.
but people can invade your space, and you can invade other people's, so you can like steal their guys, and they can steal your guys. Um, which sounds, I don't know. That doesn't interest me at all because that's not what I played Metal Gear Solid for. Um, but what it does allow them to do is a lot of shitty microtransaction stuff. So when the game first released the shitty microtransaction stuff, in order to build more forward operating bases, you need to buy these special coins that can literally go up to 50 or $60 just for the coins to build more bases.
Yep.
Okay, so that was the beginning. That was like the beginning of the end. So then this update, you can now buy insurance. You can buy in-game insurance for your forward operating base. So if anybody steals your stuff, don't worry, you bought insurance, you'll get it back. You can also buy this is oh god this and then so you get that the forward operating base, and now there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot more forward operating base, a lot of microtransaction stuff that you can buy, and then they have these costumes. So the costumes are kind of cool. They're 99 cents each, which is kind of normal for these games, but they did costumes that are like really traditional to like Metal Gear Solid games, like to be in a Metal Gear Solid game. So they released Metal Gear Solid 3 costumes, which is kind of neat. I guess you could have those as DLC, so you can dress up your characters as some of the Metal Gear Solid characters. But they had this suit as one of the options that you could buy. And the thing that I don't like about the suit being a microtransaction dollar thing is that the suit is usually the greatest reward you can get in a Metal Gear Solid game.
Yep. Yeah.
It's the reward you get for like beating the game on the most extreme difficulty, the most whatever.
It's the thing that I've never seen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that looks cool in screenshots and PlayStation Magazine. Um,
Yep.
and now it's just sort of like it's sort of that whole you can just buy it now. Like you can just buy it for 99 cents. That's just whatever. Um, and the funniest thing, and I can't believe I feel like there must have been a disgruntled worker who did this as a joke. Literally horse armor.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like the most notorious of all
Yeah,
DLCs
because I think it's
in the
actually
history of DLC.
it was one of the first I think it was one of, if not the first DLC,
Yeah.
and it was $5, and you got like ornamental like armor for your horse in Elder Scrolls Oblivion. And I think the fact that they put it in, I think somebody was being cheeky, and they're like, "Man, these things really suck. I'll bet I can get them to do horse armor. How crazy would that be if they actually did horse armor?" And then they actually got it
Yeah.
approved.
Or somebody who's a genius went, man, if we put armor in here, people will talk the shit out of it. And there's a good chance a bunch of people will buy it because they'll think it's funny.
That, or they'll hear about the DLC in general, just because like, oh,
Yep.
how crazy they have horse armor. Oh, damn it.
And now we're talking
Yeah,
about it.
no, exactly. I mean, they're a gambling, they're a casino company now. So I guess that shouldn't be really too
Hmm.
surprising. I mean, that's kind of what they do now.
Yep. It sucks.
Yeah. Moving on to some other news, Criterion sort of announced a game. Not Criterion.
Yeah, I put Criterion. I meant the people who left Criterion. I don't remember their name.
Yeah. Is this like two or three guys, or is this like Infinity Ward becoming oh shit. Who's the guys who did Titanfall?
It was the head. It was like the top couple guys. I don't think it wasn't like the entire team. I think it was kind of the top 2 or 3 guys.
Okay. Okay, I guess that makes sense.
Like the ones making all the big time decisions, I think.
Yeah. It's really
But yeah,
Mhm.
so they're working on something. It was something like not what I wanted them to do. And then they announced that, hey, we're going to make a spiritual successor to Burnout. And that's going to be our next game. And Burnout is awesome.
Burnout is awesome. I hope it's like I feel like the later Burnouts they couldn't really destroy the cars too much because they were like licensed cars. But now
Yeah.
that I hope that I feel this is so weird, but I hope this racing game has unlicensed cars so they can just like beat the shit out of them.
Yeah. That was kind of always the yeah. I feel like the last Burnout game I really liked was like, oh god, I don't even remember.
Hmm.
I don't know, but once they got to like Burnout Paradise and everything, I was like, man, you're getting away from what this game is, which is let me drive this car and let me smash the shit out of anything in my way.
Yeah, well, I think Burnout Paradise wasn't necessarily like a bad way of doing it. I think the thing that the Burnout Paradise really missed though was that sort of the individual like demolition levels in the old Burnout were like
Yeah.
puzzles. They're like puzzle games. Um,
Yeah, like how can I set this up very specifically to get the most
yeah,
money?
and I think Paradise had sort of a little bit of that, but like that was like classic Burnout. Like that was like a major part of those games was that
Oh yeah.
crash thing. So I think it kind of like missed that, and then then kind of went for a little bit farther and farther. Then they started doing Need for Speed, and that wasn't really Burnout. So yeah, this is kind of exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So
Hmm.
it's, I mean, literally years and years away,
Yeah,
but still pretty cool.
maybe we'll see that. Maybe like the Criterion as they are now, like the ones actually working with the name Criterion. Where they announced that game at E3, like that extreme sports game, and then never talked about it.
Yeah, there were some really cool wireframes from it, if I remember
Yeah, I'm really
correctly.
curious if that game actually ever happened. Or maybe they're probably just working on Battlefront now. Let's be real.
Yeah.
All right, so that's gonna just about do it for our episode for today. If you like what you heard, you can always follow us on YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartRadio. We got it, just whatever you're listening to us on, you can just follow us on. You can also follow our Twitter at Darksliders_POD. If you are a bot, do not follow us.
You get so pissed
I'm
about
so
that, and I
mad
don't
about that.
understand
We have
why.
so many freaking every time well, you know what it is? It's because every time I get a notification, I'm like, ooh, somebody's following. And it's like, God dang it. Kelly, you are not
Yeah,
following
just
us.
like every time I see a notification, I go, ooh, somebody retweeted us. Damn it, Doug.
Yeah. The most active person on our Twitter is my other Twitter account.
You probably shouldn't tell other people that. You should probably just pretend like we have one person who's really into
No.
this.
No, that would be a lie. So that'll do it for today.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.